I love early access. I've played countless demos, playtests, and from a technical standpoint, many unfinished games. The development journey a Rogex game can be that much more special when a proper early access channel is utilized, and it keeps people like me talking about it and giving it free promotion before it even hits 1.0. So many games out there just die in early access or end up taking so long in early access that its player base just kind of accepts that, well, this is it, this is going to be the game, and maybe we're going to get a 1.0, and some games just take so long to get to 1.0 that when they finally get over that hump, nothing really gets changed. It's just like a status message from, hey, we can finally take the early access tag off of our Steam page and show that it is technically a final product, which the difference between 1.0 and the most recent patch of the early access is maybe discernible, and there's really no big impact. Or worse yet, we get a short-term demo or a playtest that's only open for a short period of time, and then we don't hear a chirp out of the developers until they're eventually lost, and that game ends up just being on your wish list for 4.5 years. Welcome back, gspree gang. I promise I'm not using this as an opportunity to gush over Windblown. It just sort of happened that way. If you like this sort of commentary, subscribe, because I'm not stopping. Why do Rogex games thrive in early access, though? Why have I been completely surrounded by unfinished games and I continue to surround myself with unfinished games with no real malicious intent? Mostly because I like following a developer and following a game blossom beautifully into a flower and then release 1.0 onto the world. Because I get to see that 1.0 release and be like, yeah, I remember when this game didn't have this, or you know, this whole system was changed, or the game was way harder or way easier. I am pretty self-centered, and I like saying that I get to be part of something that is, you know, lost in the wind and not obtainable anymore. And these games are typically free, so it's a completely new experience that I just get to, you know, have fun with, and then if I like it enough, I get to make a video on it. But anyway, my narcissism is neither here nor there, so let's talk about this concept of early access. But I'll stay in my lane, because I'm specifically going to be talking about Rogex games in early access. This is more or less past the demo and playtest phase, where consumers are fully able to buy the game with money, even though it's not finished, and why that's actually a good thing. Mainly, if players actually get invested, they want to voice their thoughts and actually provide feedback. If the players provide feedback, then technically the developers can choose what they want to do with said feedback. If they're gonna, you know, toss it to the side, completely ignore it, or actually like look into it and pick out bits and pieces and, you know, maybe have selective hearing, because you're going to have to, because not every single comment is going to be positive and constructive criticism that's actually going to take the game in the direction that the developers want to take it, because ultimately on 1.0, I mean, hopefully, your game will reach a larger audience, so you want to try and determine what that audience is. Do we dumb down our game? Do we make it more serious? Do we highlight specific features? What parts of the game do you focus on developing and actually building out or changing, or save for later? Maybe people really want to see more maps. Maybe you focus on more maps. Maybe you focus on more weapons or more technical mechanics specific to your game. Realistically, though, the most important feedback, in my opinion, is regarding game balancing, quality of life improvements, and then bug reporting. All the other aforementioned items should already be established, and the players should be looking forward to those things because they saw this cool thing called a roadmap. I don't care who you are, what you're developing, if your game is in early access, you should have a roadmap. This is where you communicate to your audience that you actually have a direction. You can soft promise things like new weapons, new maps, new bosses, whatever, more this, more that. The whole point of early access is to declare that the game is still being developed, and if you aren't providing a roadmap or updates saying what's coming next, you can't prove that your game is actually being developed. If people are spending money, they want to know what's being worked on and what's generally to come. Let's set the bar with Windblown and Vellum. Here's the roadmap Windblown showed alongside their early access release in October of 2024, promising all of these things with a soft release date in 2026. Throughout 2025, they plan to focus on things like weapons, gifts, and biomes, and something new that they didn't want to show off yet, as well as quality of life, bug fixes, endless mode, and a new boss. But what did they actually end up releasing in 2025? As chronologically as makes sense, and keep in mind that we have a lot of bug fixes going out through all of these, we got endless mode, quality of life improvements regarding run stats, weapon reworks, all in the same update. The very next month, they released the Sanctuary update, including an insane amount of content, a brand new biome full of all new enemies, and 4 new weapons and 1 new trinket, plus a little rework to the Magifish's cooldown timer, which is like your Leaper's trump card, and they tweaked the co-op revenge system, and I believe completely reworked it at a point. These 2 updates came out in March and April of 2025 and completely delivered on every single thing they promised for 2025. They went on to have 4 more major updates with that same scale throughout the rest of the year, ending with a massive remodel of one of the first stages. During my knowledge run for this section, I also found a roadmap for 2025 and 6 that was released back in October that I just completely missed. This includes promise of endgame content and new game plus, which is interesting to speculate because we already have 5 different ascension levels after you beat the game at a certain difficulty. You unlock the next one. There's less healing pretty much, and then more damage, more health for enemies. Then more biomes, bosses, weapons, skins, Kyle, and straight up more of what we loved from 2025. I need to stop talking about Windblown in every video. I swear I'll find another game to use as examples in the future. But legitimately, this is just a perfect show for early access expectations. It sets the stage, improves upon it, keeps players interested and invested, follows through on the promises from the roadmap, and completely blows them out of the water. And again, it keeps people like me talking about it and thinking about it constantly. Another game that did this very well was Vellum, which I covered in 2024. Vellum set the standard for me when Windblown wasn't even out yet. A solid roadmap with clear communications and a general idea of what's to come. Then when those things finally get released, it blows out of proportion the amount of changes and the actual quality of those changes. Low-key, I was very spoiled playing Vellum for the first time during an X-Fest demo and then seeing it come out like a month later for early access, and then seeing all those roadmaps, and then every other month having a gigantic content update with every other off month just being quality of life and bug fixes. I don't know how long Vellum stayed in early access. I want to say maybe 6 to 8 months, but the finished product, the 1.0 product, compared to the shell of what came out during early access, it was almost a completely different game. I'm so happy that I got to follow it on its journey and continue to be impressed with a product that I was already satisfied with. These 2 games show exactly what early access development should look like if you want to actually keep your players interested, more importantly engaged, and bringing in new players. Because if you don't do these things, people will forget, 1.0 will drop. Maybe if I've played your demo and didn't really care for it, I'm going to look at this game and be like, oh, I didn't know anything was happening with this game. I saw a demo, there was no other communications about anything else happening, didn't see any updates or any early access data, and it just dropped on 1.0, and I'm going to be less likely to actually spend money and try the new game out because there was no interaction from point A to point B. But I'm not a lot of consumers, and chances are a lot of consumers don't see your very initial demo, especially if there was like a year between the two. And not every single game is the same. Maybe the demo was like a true demo, whereas 1.0, maybe 6 to 8 to 12 months later, is a completely different product. And they've just held up so many updates and so many system changes and additions that once 1.0 finally pushes out, it's completely different. Now, I'm not here to point fingers or hold grudges because I definitely don't remember games that I wasn't satisfied with, and I'd like to not focus on the negative side so much, but instead hoist up what I really like, put it on a pedestal, and say, this is it.
That I love. I absolutely love. It's everything.
Like, really just let it set a good example for the industry. But I'm definitely more of a tactile leaning person. I like to experience the game. I like to see and read update changes and then go and play those updated changes. Then I get to form my own opinion on what I think. Early access is incredibly versatile, and I know that not just Rogex games use this feature, as well as other games may have some motives for early access, mainly monetarily, to continue to work on it and push it towards 1.0. Purely from a consumer standpoint, and I firmly place myself here, these are the things I've seen and the things I like. And truly, what's the main goal for early access, and what happens once the game is officially launched? Rogex games thrive by being able to adapt and change, just like we adapt and change while playing the runs. I'll leave you with that to ponder. I think this is the first time in my YouTube career that I've open-ended a question. But let me know what you think. It's really fun to dive into just a really broad thought. I kind of like it. Anyway, the next few weeks are going to be really busy for me for work, but that doesn't change my upload schedule. We're still going to have Monday videos right here, Cobblemon episode over on the Overstock channel, also at the same time that this video drops, and then another Funny Moments video over on the Overstock channel on Wednesday.
My name's Gavin. I'm 24, and I have dementia.
I do?
When's the last time you recognized somebody you never saw before?
What? Say that again.
Exactly. Yeah, you have dementia, buddy.
See how much better that looks, Gavin?
Oh.
We've been talking about the single set of stairs this entire time.
I envisioned something so much different.
As usual, gspree gang, I appreciate you so much for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, weekend, and I'll catch you the next time you catch me.